Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. It feels like just about everyone has read this one, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's touched so many readers.
And today we're going to take a deep dive through its pages.
Sounds good.
A story set in the South in the 1930s, a racially charged time,
A very different time.
and all told through the eyes of Scout Finch.
Yeah. Young Scout.
She sees it all unfold.
She does.
Her father, Atticus, is a lawyer, and he ends up defending a black man, Tom Robinson.
Right. Tom Robinson is wrongly accused.
And Atticus knows it.
He does, but that doesn't stop him.
So we're going to take a journey, chapter by chapter,
Uncovering all those moments.
and themes that make this book such a classic.
It truly is.
So, first things first, we need to head to Maycomb, Alabama,
Okay, Maycomb. It's the 1930s.
Depression era,
Yeah. The Great Depression. Societal norms are very different.
and racial prejudices run deep.
Right. Deeply intertwined in everyday life.
And the Finch family, they're kind of in the middle of it all.
They are. Atticus is a lawyer, well-respected.
So they're not on the fringes of society or anything,
No, they have standing, but their views set them apart.
because they believe in justice.
They do, and that's gonna cause conflict.
And we see all of this through Scout's eyes,
Right. Through her perspective.
which is pretty amazing, this blend of innocence and, well, she's pretty sharp.
She is very observant for a child.
It's those early chapters that really set the scene, don't you think?
They do.
They've got Scout, Jem, Dill, all having their childhood adventures.
Theirs is a world of imagination and games.
Like their whole thing with Boo Radley.
Ah, yes. Boo Radley. The town mystery.
All very, like it seems so simple at first.
Simple, yes. But Harper Lee is clever.
She is.
There are hints of darkness there.
Oh, for sure.
Whispers of racism, rigid social order.
It's all simmering beneath the surface.
It is, setting the stage.
For what's to come.
The trial.
The trial of Tom Robinson.
A black man falsely accused.
By Mayella Ewell.
Yes, a white woman.
And Atticus chooses to defend him.
Despite knowing the consequences.
Despite knowing how Maycomb will react.
It takes courage.
It does. Atticus is going up against some deeply ingrained beliefs.
He is, not just in the courtroom, but in the entire community.
But he stands by his principles.
He believes in justice,
And he teaches his children some pretty important lessons along the way.
like seeing things from another's perspective.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Essential, really, especially as the trial unfolds.
And as the trial goes on, Scout and Jem's view of Maycomb starts to change.
It does. Their innocent eyes are open to the reality of prejudice.
They see how ugly it can be.
They do.
Firsthand.
The courtroom becomes like a microcosm of Maycomb's racism.
It all comes to a head there.
It does. You see how prejudice can blind people to the truth?
Yeah, how fear and ignorance can have such devastating consequences.
It's a heartbreaking awakening for Scout and Jem.
It is. It really shatters their childhood innocence.
It does. They see the impact it has on their family.
And on Tom Robinson's fate.
It's a turning point for them.
The trial definitely is. But then there's this whole other layer Lee introduces.
Oh, yeah.
The Mockingbird.
Such a powerful symbol.
It is.
Atticus tells his children it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Because they don't do any harm.
They don't. They just sing their songs.
They bring joy.
And that idea, it becomes central to the novel's message.
About innocence, right?
Yes. And the harm that comes from harming the innocent.
And that connects directly to Tom Robinson.
It does.
He becomes a Mockingbird figure.
Innocent, vulnerable, targeted by prejudice.
Exactly. And then there's Boo Radley.
Ah, Boo Radley.
He fits the description too, doesn't he?
He does, in a way.
At first, he's this mysterious figure.
The children are scared of him.
They are. But we come to see a different side of him.
We do. As with Tom, Boo is judged without truly being known.
He's an outcast, really. Ostracized for being different.
Haunted by his past.
And then Bob Ewell, after the trial, he's out for revenge.
Yes, Bobby.
He's fueled by hatred.
He is. He represents the darkest side of Maycomb.
He really does. And he targets Atticus and his children.
Which escalates the tension.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And puts the children in danger.
It all comes to a head on Halloween night.
The attack. One of the most gripping moments in the book.
It is. Jem and Scout were walking home from the Halloween pageant.
And Ewell attacks.
But then Boo comes out of the shadows.
He does?
He protects them.
A dramatic twist. The figure they once feared becomes their savior.
And that's where we'll leave it for now.
Boo Radley coming out of the shadows like that to protect them. It changes everything.
It does. Turns everything we thought we knew about him on its head.
Exactly. It makes you think about, well, judging by appearances.
Right. how
No.
we shouldn't do that. But the aftermath of that attack, that says a lot about Maycomb, too.
It does, about their sense of, well, justice.
Yeah. Sheriff Tate, he's got to make a tough call.
He does. He knows the truth, but revealing it.
It would put Boo in the spotlight.
Yeah, and subject him to all kinds of, well, scrutiny.
Essentially punishing him for saving the children.
Right.
So what does he do?
He decides to protect Boo.
He does.
He says Bob Ewell fell on his own knife.
Wow.
It's a decision that, well, it sparks debate.
For sure.
Huh.
About justice and, doing the right thing.
It's not always so black and white.
No, it's not. It's one of those, what do they call it? Ethical dilemmas.
Yeah. You have the truth on one hand.
But protecting someone who, even though he's, well, different.
He acted heroically.
Did.
It makes you think about, protecting innocence, even if it means bending the rules a bit.
Right. And Scout, in a way, she comes to understand that.
She does. After everything calms down, she actually gets to spend time with Boo.
It's a really touching scene.
It is. Quiet, gentle Scout who used to be so afraid of him.
She sees him for who he really is.
Yeah.
A kind soul. And it shows how much Scout has grown.
It does, how much she's learned about the world, about people.
She realizes that her fears were based on, well, prejudice.
Unfounded assumptions.
Right. She learns to see Boo as a human being.
Deserving of compassion, respect.
Like everyone. So as we head towards the end of the book,
Yeah.
what are some of the big takeaways? The things Lee wants us to think about?
Well, prejudice, for sure.
Yeah, how destructive it can be.
Look at Tom Robinson, wrongly accused just because of his race.
And the consequences were devastating.
They were, and it's not just in the book. It's a message for, well, all of us.
To confront prejudice wherever we see it.
Exactly.
And then there's a whole idea of empathy.
Yeah. Understanding others. Scout's journey, that's all about that, isn't it?
It is, learning to see things from different perspectives.
Whether it's Tom Robinson, Boo Radley, or even the people who disagree with Atticus.
It forces her to step outside her own little bubble.
And realize that everyone has their own story.
And Atticus, he's like the model for that, isn't he?
He is. Always striving to understand others.
Defending Tom Robinson even when everyone's against him.
It takes courage to do that.
To stand up for what's right.
He's a powerful example for Scout, for all of us.
And then, of course, there's the whole childhood innocence thing.
Yeah. Scout and Jem, they go through so much.
Their whole world changes.
They see how complicated things are.
They see the bad stuff.
The prejudice, the unfairness.
But they keep their compassion.
They do. It's pretty inspiring, actually, how resilient they are.
It really is. And all these themes, Lee weaves them together so well.
She does. And that's why this book still resonates with people today.
Decades later.
To Kill a Mockingbird is a timeless story.
It really is.
It's about, well, the human condition, I guess.
It makes us look at ourselves.
It does. Our beliefs, how we treat others.
And that's what makes it so powerful.
It sticks with you.
So we've been to Maycomb. We saw that trial unfold.
It did.
Explored all that symbolism.
Yeah, the Mockingbird.
But like all great books, it doesn't end when you close the book, does it?
No, it doesn't. It makes you think.
It stays with you.
It challenges you.
And that's why it's so good to revisit it, I think.
I agree.
First time, fifth time, it doesn't matter.
There's always something new to see.
Some new connection to make.
Or maybe a connection that means more now than it did before.
And sadly, this book stays relevant.
It does. Because those issues, prejudice, injustice,
The fight for equality, we're still dealing with that today.
we are.
And that's what makes Lee's work so powerful.
I think so too.
It's not just a story about the South in the 1930s.
No.
It's a mirror.
Reflecting on society.
It makes us look at our own biases.
And the systems that, well, keep those inequalities in place.
And it makes us ask those tough questions.
It does.
Like, where are the mockingbirds being harmed today?
Right.
Are we doing enough to protect them?
Are we standing up for what's right?
Even when it's hard?
Even when it means going against the crowd?
Those are questions we need to ask.
If we want to make things better,
Create a world that's more just.
more compassionate.
And that's the legacy of To Kill a Mockingbird, I think.
It is.
That we can all be like Atticus. Yeah. Fight for what we believe in.
Be a voice for those who need one.
The book doesn't give us easy answers, though.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't say, this is good, this is bad.
It's more complicated than that.
It shows how messy things can be.
Where's the line between right and wrong?
Where does justice fit in?
It's all about those gray areas.
But even with all that, there's still hope
There is.
that through empathy, understanding,
Courage.
we can make things better.
We can.
So, As we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to think about the mockingbirds in your own life,
Okay.
the injustices you see,
Right.
and what you could do to change things.
Yeah.
To Kill a Mockingbird, it may be fiction, but it has a message that can inspire real action.
It does.
And if this has made you want to explore more, well, there's plenty out there
There is so much to learn.
about the book, the history, the impact it's had.
Keep the conversation going.
Keep asking questions.
Keep learning.
That's what a deep dive is all about.